Hey, what's going on? Nick here from virtualassistantassistant.com. This is my video review for WP Fix-It. So I get this text message from a friend of mine. He's like, "Hey, you might want to check out your website." It's like, "Oh, this is never a good. This is never a good text." So sure enough, go to the website. Turns out it has been hacked. It's redirecting to some, spammy malware site that's like trying to sell you virus removal software and stuff like that. And worse, it turns out that like all of the sites on that shared hosting account of mine have been hacked as well. So after my rudimentary technical attempts at fixing it myself kind of failed pretty miserably, I had to turn to the interwebs for some virtual help. The hosting provider actually wanted $300 to clean up the website, the most important website of the ones that got hacked, plus $75 a month recurring to get that done. So I was like, that seemed a little bit steep, especially since some of these sites had been online for a decade, basically. So I turned to WP Fix-It, which is a service that I'd learned about through the Virtual Assistant site. It's a service I'm actually an affiliate for, and say, hey, what a perfect excuse to try these guys out. So it was around $100, which seemed like a steal after being quoted $300 plus that recurring monthly maintenance fee. And long story short, they cleaned up the most important of the sites and got it back to normal, which was awesome. They also made a bunch of security recommendations for the future, and I think installed like a firewall plugin to prevent this from happening again. Normally for my other sites, the bigger sites, like I have a security plugin, either like WordFence or all-in-one WP Security, I think it's called. But those sites didn't have that installed, which I understand. It's kind of like having real estate and just abandoning this house for years at a time and not updating plugins, not updating themes, and just of course there's going to be squatters living in there eventually. You're not going to turn up and just turn the key to the house and have it be in perfect condition anymore. So I realized this was totally my bad, but lesson learned. Kind of an expensive lesson learned, but we're getting everything fixed. On to WP Fix-It. So relatively quick turnaround time. The rep that we had, or the technical support agent that we had, said a lot of the staff was out of town at a conference, and this was over a weekend as well, so maybe the turnaround time was a little bit slower than normal. We weren't in any huge rush. It's just like this feeling of violation if somebody's trying to visit your site and they can't get there. So that was one bit of feedback for maybe a little bit slower than it could have been, and maybe we just hit it at the wrong time. The other bit of feedback was, they needed FTP access, yet that wasn't just part of the standard intake form. It's like, would have been very easy. There was no text explanation field in there, so we thought that would be an area for improvement, just to ask for that information up front to eliminate a little bit of back and forth. But overall, we were happy with the process. Actually, it was my wife's site that got hacked, so she was kind of the interface on this one. But happy to have it be up and running again, and have people be able to find the business behind the site. You might be wondering what we ended up doing with the rest of the sites that got hacked. So it turned out to kind of be maybe a long overdue spring cleaning of sorts. So a lot of those got so little traffic and were just so neglected that it's just, what, I'm going to cut my losses. I'm just going to delete these things. We still had access to our WordPress backend dashboard, so we could kind of export any of the posts. If we had, just something on there that we really wanted to save, we could get, we could save that. But it's just time to, to cut ties with those. For the other ones that were, still generating a little bit of traffic, I actually found a seller on Fiverr to do some malware cleanup for me. And I don't know if you feel the same way, but every time it was a little bit less than WP Fix-It, but every time I see these like too good to be true prices on Fiverr, it makes me a little nervous. This is either my best idea ever or my worst. But thankfully, the Fiverr guy was able to clean up a couple of the other sites as well. So in combination with WP Fix-It, we should be clean. We should be back to normal. And now these sites have security plugins installed, and I've got calendar reminders to go in every few weeks and keep things up to date. So hopefully, no more hackers, no more malware. But in any case, so our first taste of WP Fix-It was a positive one. But you don't have to take our word for it. You can check out the reviews of other WP Fix-It customers in the comments below this video on virtualassistantassistant.com. And if you're watching elsewhere, if you're watching on YouTube, I'll link that up for you in the description below. Thanks so much. We'll catch up with you soon.